The gospel of progress.
We stand in awe of it. Progress. A relentless march forward, a promise of a brighter tomorrow. We see the towering skyscrapers, the dazzling lights of the city that never sleeps. We hear the hum of industry, the ceaseless rhythm of machines churning out the future, one product at a time. The world, we are told, is getting better, richer, faster. The charts all point up, a steady climb into the heavens of prosperity. We are taught to worship at this altar, to believe in the gospel of progress. It's the engine of our modern world, the force that lifts nations from poverty and delivers us from the darkness of the past. It's the story we tell ourselves, the one that makes sense of it all. We celebrate the breakthroughs, the innovations, the sheer velocity of change. But have we ever stopped to ask, what is the real cost of this relentless forward motion? Have we dared to look behind the curtain of this grand spectacle? Look closely at the horizon, where the smoke from 1,000 factories blends into the sky, painting it in shades of gray and orange. This is the breath of progress, they say. The smell of jobs, of opportunity, of a nation on the move. We see the graphs, the stock tickers scrolling endlessly upwards, a river of green numbers promising wealth and security. The markets rally, and we breathe a collective sigh of relief. The economy is strong. But whose economy? And strong for whom? While fortunes are made in sleek boardrooms and on digital exchanges, a different story unfolds on the ground, in far-flung corners of the world. And even in the forgotten pockets of our own prosperous nations, we see the other side of the coin, the faces of men and women, their bodies bent in labor, their hands raw from the toil that fuels this great machine. They are the invisible architects of our comfort. Their sweat the mortar in the walls of our abundance. We talk of growth as if it's a sacred, unquestionable good. Economic growth, population growth, technological growth. More is always better. A bigger GDP, a more powerful phone, a faster car. But when does this insatiable hunger for more begin to consume the very things that sustain us? When we clear-cut ancient forests for timber and farmland, we call it development. When we empty the oceans to feed our appetites, we call it industry. When we tear open the earth for its precious minerals, we call it resource extraction. We have become masters of euphemism, experts at dressing destruction in the language of advancement. We celebrate corporate profits. But do we mourn the loss of clean air and pure water? Do we factor the extinction of a species into our quarterly reports? The natural world, the foundation of our very existence, is treated not as a living system to be nurtured, but as a warehouse of raw materials to be liquidated for short-term gain. This isn't progress. It's a declaration of war on our own home. And what of our societies?
What of the human spirit in this age of relentless acceleration?
We have built a world where corporations are granted the rights of people, their pursuit of profit protected by law, while the rights of actual human beings are often sidelined. When a company can pollute a river with impunity, but a citizen protesting that pollution is arrested, who does democracy truly serve? When our political systems are beholden to the highest bidder, and policy is shaped not by the public good, but by lobbyist dollars. Can we still call ourselves a government of the people, by the people, for the people? We are told that the rising tide of the market will lift all boats, but for so many, it feels less like a rising tide and more like a flood, a deluge that threatens to sweep away their homes, their livelihoods, and their dignity. The gap between the haves and the have-nots has become a chasm, a fracture in the very soul of our communities. We've become a culture of consumers, not citizens. Our value is measured by what we can buy, our happiness determined by the next acquisition. We are constantly bombarded with messages telling us we are not enough, that we need this new product, this latest upgrade. This endless cycle of desire and consumption leaves us feeling empty, anxious, and disconnected. We have more possessions than ever before. Yet we report higher levels of loneliness and depression. We are connected to thousands of people online, yet we feel profoundly isolated. Is this the abundant life that progress promised? Is this the pinnacle of human achievement? A society where we work jobs we dislike to buy things we don't need, to impress people we don't know, all while the planet that sustains us groans under the weight of our waste. We chase a fleeting sense of satisfaction, a temporary high, mistaking consumption for fulfillment. But growth for the sake of growth is the ideology of the cancer cell, and we are seeing the symptoms of the disease everywhere we look. The story we've been sold is a comforting lie. The gospel of progress has promised us a heaven on earth, but it's leading us down a path of the rhythmic hum of the factory is not a lullaby. It is a warning drum. The rising stock prices are not a measure of our will. They are a fever chart of a planet in distress. The time has come to question this gospel, to ask the hard questions we have been avoiding for too long. Why do we applaud a kind of progress that destroys its own foundation? Does growth still mean life, a flourishing of potential and creativity? Or does it now simply mean consumption without end, a hollow pursuit that devours everything in its path? These are not comfortable questions. They challenge the very bedrock of our modern world. But we must ask them. We must have the courage to imagine a different kind of progress. A progress measured not by the quantity of our possessions, but by the quality of our relationships. A progress measured not by the speed of our consumption, but by the depth of our connection to the natural world. A progress that values regeneration over extraction, community over competition, well-being over wealth. This isn't about going backwards. It's not about abandoning technology or retreating into the past. It's about consciously and intentionally choosing a different future. It's about harnessing our incredible human ingenuity, our capacity for innovation and cooperation to build a world that is not just richer, but healthier, not just more powerful, bat more hoots, not just faster, but more sustainable. It's about redefining what it means to live a good life on a finite planet. The current path is not inevitable.
The future is not yet written.
We are the authors of the next chapter. The time for blind faith in the old gospel is over. It is time to write a new story, a story of true progress. Thank you for watching. If this resonated with you, please subscribe and join the conversation.